be marinated in Greek yogurt to make it extra tender. We're also going to beat our meat with our tenderizer to make it even tastier. Let's talk about our ingredients that we're going to need today. First, we should start with 3 to 4 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, half a cup of Greek yogurt, a cup of walnuts, 2 large sweet potatoes, 4 to 5 white mushrooms, 2 slices of white onion, a stalk of celery, small head of broccoli, a stalk of green onion, half a lime, a bunch of spices. We've got sea salt, dill, black pepper, thyme, cumin powder, bay leaf, cinnamon, and curry basic. Then we also have some olive oil and some red wine vinegar. We're going to need to preheat our oven to 450 degrees. You're going to need a baking dish, a pan, a large skillet, and a pot with a steamer for your broccoli. You want to start your marinade maybe 30 minutes or a couple hours before it's cooking time. So this has been sitting here for a few hours in the refrigerator, of course, with a little bit of lemon juice and some black pepper and salt. The yogurt makes this chicken so tender and tasty. But we're actually going to start right now with our walnuts. We're going to take the walnuts and smooth them out onto our pan, just like this. And we're going to pop them into the oven for like 5 minutes. The rack should be right around the middle. And you want to put 5 minutes on there. While those are cooking, we're going to chop the rest of our sweet potato and the rest of our mushroom. I started chopping a little while ago to save time for this video. Now, you don't have to put on your best pearls to make dinner, but I suggest doing so because it's a lot of fun. Once you're done chopping your sweet potato, put it in your glass baking dish and grab your mushrooms. Finish chopping your mushrooms. You don't need to chop them too thinly. They can go on a little thick. And sprinkle them in with the sweet potato. You want to kind of get them evenly mixed in there. You're going to sprinkle it with a little bit of salt, some sea salt, some black pepper, some dill, and some thyme. Now these are all seasoned to taste. So if you like more dill, do more dill. If you like more salt, do more salt. It's totally up to you. You're also going to take your olive oil, and you're going to take around a tablespoon, and you are going to very carefully drizzle it over the sweet potatoes and mushrooms. Now you can take a spoon and kind of toss these all together to more evenly mix the spices and the olive oil on top. You can even clink the dish a whole bunch and make a lot of music while you cook. Now, our vegetables are prepped to go in the oven. We've got around 3 minutes left on our walnuts, and we're going to want to toss them around. Make sure to get an oven mitt. Mine has reindeer on it. So toss your walnuts, close them back up, let them finish cooking, and now we can start to tenderize our meat. You're going to want to put down some saran wrap because Well, I'm dressed so nice, I don't want to spill yogurt all over myself. So let's put this down. Take this. We're going to wipe off some of the marinade, and our hands are going to get gross and dirty. And we're going to place the chicken onto the saran wrap. Like I said before, these are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. They work really well if you want tender, soft chicken. Dark meat cooks a little bit faster. You're also more than welcome to do this with some chicken breasts, or even drumsticks will work. But we like the chicken thighs the best. You're going to take another bit of saran wrap. No. And try not to set off the smoke alarm. Our apartment building is pretty old, and it does that a lot. We need to turn on the bin, I guess? Yeah, let's turn on the bin. Oh my goodness! But we're going to keep going. We've got a minute left for our walnuts, and we're going to beat our meat. You're going to make some noise. And you're going to try to flatten out the meat. Get it evenly soft. Yell when you're talking. And try not to splatter yogurt anywhere. Okay. I'm going to take these walnuts out because they seem to be nice and toasty. And I'm going to put them over to the side to cool. So they're going to stay over here until right before we're ready to serve. We can pop in our sweet potatoes now. And we're going to cook our sweet potatoes, again on the middle rack, for 20 minutes. So let's do that. All right. Our meat is nice and tender. And we're going to just move it right over to the side so we can finish chopping our celery and start to saute this. We're going to chop the celery into small pieces, just like so. And watch out for your fingers. You don't want to cut them off. That's not part of our ingredient list. And then when you're all done chopping, you're going to take a tablespoon of oil and put it into your large skillet. So we're going to want to heat up our oil on medium-high heat. And we're going to throw in the celery and also the onion. You can use a spoon to kind of toss that around. And it's going to start cooking as the heat works its magic on the oil. Next, we're going to take some water and we're going to pour it into our steaming pot. You want to get a decent amount of water in the pot so that way as the steam rises it'll cook your broccoli, but it doesn't all burn off and then burn the bottom of your pot. We're going to take the broccoli and stick it right into our little steaming basket, which is inside the pot. And we're going to turn on that heat and let it go on high for 10 to 15 minutes while we start to make our chicken. So now we're going to ever so gently start to season our celery and onion with a little bit of thyme, some black pepper, maybe a little bit more salt, and also some bay leaf. And then we're going to pull out of our spices the curry basic, the cumin powder, and the cinnamon. This is what we're going to use on the chicken when it cooks. But first we want to get the celery and onion cooking a little bit. Use a spoon and toss it around. You can use a wood spoon or a metal spoon. It's really up to you, whichever kind of spoon you prefer. And then we're going to want to take some lemon juice and stick it on top of the broccoli, so as that cooks, it's going to do really well. So we like to cook primally, and I'm going to talk about that while this starts to simmer a little. Primally means that we don't eat refined sugar or grains or, well, pretty anything that's not real. And if you've noticed today, all of our food is organic and seasonal. We try really hard to be sustainable and keep things good for the environment. And now our celery is really starting to cook, and I think we can start to cook our chicken. So you're going to want to take one piece at a time of this tender, juicy chicken that's kind of gross and raw. And you're going to want to lay it in the pot, or in the giant pan, flat, just like so. And we're going to cook it 3 to 4 minutes per side. We're going to sprinkle on a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of the cumin, and a little bit of the curry basic. We're going to use a fork and flip it so we can spice this side too. Again, there's the cumin, the curry basic, and the cinnamon. You can also take a little bit of lime and squirt it onto the chicken. So now this is going to cook for 3 to 4 minutes per side. And my skillet is big enough that I'm going to put 2 on here. If you're interested in seeing more of my recipes, please go to From My Blue Kitchen at blogspot.com. I've got lots of desserts and tasty dinners, appetizers, salads, lunches, breakfasts. I love to cook. I cook all the time, and I put what I cook up online. I want to help my community cook as well as I love to. So again, we're going to season the chicken, and then we're going to turn it over and season the other side with the curry basic, the cumin powder, and the cinnamon. The cinnamon tastes so good on the chicken. I know it's usually a dessert spice, but forget what you know and just do what I'm telling you to do. So we're going to check on our sweet potatoes and mushrooms. We're going to use a spoon and the reindeer mitt to kind of check on these and see how they're doing. So they're a little dry, I'm actually going to add a bit of water to the dish and learn where my fridge is in my kitchen. So that water in there, I just used maybe half a cup or so, will help the sweet potato cook a little bit better. So you can see the chicken is starting to get really yellow from all the spices. And the sides are starting to get a little golden brown, which is showing me that they're cooking through well. You don't want to undercook your chicken. You want to make sure that it's golden brown on each side, and if you cut a piece open, the juices run clear, so that way you're not going to get yourself sick or anything like that. But basically, this is what we're going to continue doing for a while. As you can see, the steam is starting to go in with the broccoli, and so after maybe around 10 minutes from now, that should be done. And the sweet potatoes and mushrooms have around 12 minutes. When they're done, we're going to take the red wine vinegar, and we're going to toss the red wine vinegar in with the sweet potatoes, and then we're going to use our walnuts and put them on top. The green onion we can dice while we wait for our chicken to cut. You want a smaller knife, and you're going to cut it in little bits. We're going to use this almost like garnish on top of the chicken when it's all done. We're not going to cook this, it's just raw. If you want to, you can saute it if you don't like the taste of the raw onion. But it's a lot more mild than regular onion, and it doesn't make you cry when you cut it. So it looks like our chicken is about ready to turn again. We want to get a little bit more lime juice on top of that piece. Yeah, you can see right in here it's starting to get a little bit more golden brown. We're going to keep doing this and keep moving the celery and onions around. You can see them, they're really starting to get the brown edges too, which is showing that they're caramelizing and looking really good. And I think I'm going to make enough room to get this last chicken piece on there so it's not cooking for too long while everything else is all sitting and getting cold. I try to plan my meals so that way everything is done right around the same time and we don't have to worry anymore. We can just sit and eat and not think about vegetables getting cold or meat getting kind of tough because it's sitting out too long. We really want to make sure that all of our meal is prepped at the same time, ready to go at the same time, and ready to eat at the same time. I can't believe we set off the smoke alarm again. That happens almost every time I cook. If you look, we don't have a hood anywhere. Our building is old and small, but awesome because I got to paint my kitchen blue. Sometimes when I make bacon, and I make a lot of bacon, this is actually one of the only meals that I make that doesn't have bacon in it. We have 2 fans going and all the windows open, and I still set off the fire alarm. I'm sure my neighbors hate me. So we're going to keep turning our chicken. You can really see that it's now getting cooked all the way through. I'm going to get some more lime juice, go on top of this piece here so it's not left out. And then I'm going to wash my hands. And maybe wipe down some of my spice jars that I've gotten dirty with my dirty little fingers. I'm going to check on my sweet potatoes again. So I've got to grab my reindeer mitt. You want to continuously toss them, kind of like this, and maybe stick a fork in them. to see how they're cooking through. They've still got some time to cook. So I'm actually going to add a few more minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to my sweet potatoes. So we've got 15 minutes until this meal is all done. I don't think we started more than 20 minutes ago. So this isn't really that bad to do. You just need a few hours before to take maybe 15 minutes and throw some chicken in a Tupperware with the yogurt and let it sit. So it's really easy to make this on a weeknight. Coming home from work. Or if you're lucky like me, you don't have to work and you just cook all day. I'm going to check on my broccoli. And it looks like it's still got 8 to 10 more minutes. You're going to want to keep cooking that at a solid high heat. And I checked it to show you what it looks like right now, but really you want to kind of keep it close so all the steam stays inside and really cooks it so it's tender and soft and not too crunchy. But basically now all I have is clean up while we finish cooking. And if you want to keep yourself from having too much of a messy kitchen, which it's really easy to let your kitchen get out of control, you can clean while you cook. So we're just going to clean. Throw things in the sink, wash stuff, put away the seasoning, maybe set the table. Multitask. We're in the 21st century, and I'm pretty sure that that's something you have to do to live and survive these days. So I'm just going to start cleaning up. Keep it real, right? And maybe drop a few things while I'm at it. Looks like it might be time to turn one of these chickens again. Try to scrape the bottom of the pan so it doesn't get too much burnt, crusty stuff. And by now your celery should be really soft. It's going to go well with the chicken and the walnuts and everything's going to go well together because it's all tasty. Put our dishes in the sink. I don't think you'll need to use as many of your glass dishes as I did. It's kind of hard making a cooking show. So at this point, it looks like that first piece of chicken might be all finished. So I'm going to cut it open just a little bit. And now you can see, if you look in there, the juices aren't quite clear. They're still a little pink, which means that it's not ready yet. So I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to let it continue cooking for a few more minutes. And same with this one. It's still a little pink in the middle, if you can see in there, which means that it's just not quite ready for eating yet. And check on my sweet potatoes one more time. They're starting to look a little bit more cooked. The mushrooms are looking more ready to eat. And when I stick a fork in them, they're getting softer. which is exactly what we want. We don't want tough, hard sweet potatoes. We want soft, juicy sweet potatoes. Try to turn them over if you see any that are getting a little dried out on top, to get them in there, and don't burn yourself from all the heat in the oven or set off the fire alarm again. Okay. We're still going to need that red wine vinegar, so make sure you don't put that one away yet. But everything else is pretty much set. I'm going to check this chicken again. And I think that this time, yeah, it's pretty much done now. So I'm going to start plating some of my food. Yes. So you're going to take a serving tray. I have blue ones to go with my blue kitchen. I'm going to just very gently lift up this chicken and stick it right here and put it over to the side. It's starting to cool. And by the time everything else is done, you'll be able to cut that chicken open and eat it without burning your mouth, which sometimes my husband does, and I feel bad for him because he just is too impatient to wait. He loves to eat our food so much. So you can really see that some of the onions are starting to get brown and crispy as well. If you don't want them to be that brown or crispy, we kind of like them like that, but you can take them out a little early too. So I'm going to take a scoop of these out, especially the ones that have a little bit of the char on the edges. And stick them right on top of the chicken. Flip my chicken pieces again. I cut open my third piece to see how much longer it needs. And it's still pretty raw in the middle, so it will take maybe 4 more minutes. You guys enjoyed my video. This is the first video I've ever made, and frankly I had no idea what to expect. So learn with me, love food with me, keep cooking. The fact that you're watching, I appreciate. I'm grateful for that, and I hope that you really enjoy the meal and that you can get inspiration from some of my other recipes and really maybe learn how to love cooking. I'm going to pull the rest of these onions and celery off of the skillet at this point because I don't want them to overcook. And as I plate the rest of my chicken, I'm just going to rearrange the dish so they'll be on top. Last time to check the sweet potatoes. They've got around 5 more minutes to cook. And now they're really starting to look the way they're supposed to. You can see the fork goes into them pretty easily, too easily. And again, you're just going to want to turn the pieces over successfully to make sure that they're not drying out too much. And again, watch the heat so it doesn't burn your pretty little fingers. Try to get them all kind of even, nothing covering another piece too much. And then close your oven back up. Yeah, this second piece of chicken is all done. So I'm going to plate it next to my first piece. Put some of the celery and onion on top. And now there's just one piece of chicken left in the pan. Okay. My broccoli looks like it's just about done. So I'm going to turn off that heat. Take off the top. Be careful for all the steam that's going to be coming out. Then I'm just going to lift up my basket. Drip it a few times to make sure it doesn't trip all over my floor. Grab another serving plate and just scoop the broccoli right onto the plate. Just like that. If you want to, you can season it with some salt. I don't even need to because with everything else it tastes really fine. So we are almost all finished here. I'm going to start setting up our plates, moving all our stuff out of the way. Check this last piece of chicken. It's looking pretty done. Yep. The chicken is all done, so you can turn off your skillet. Grab your serving platter. Put the last piece of chicken on the skillet. Put the onions and celery on top. Like so. And now we can take the green onion and just kind of sprinkle it right over like that. Doesn't that look good? It's going to taste really good too. Okay. So now, we're going to look at our sweet potatoes. We've got a minute or so left until done, but you know, I think that they are all cooked. Stick your fork through some of the larger pieces because that'll let you know if the smaller pieces are cooked. Smaller pieces usually cook faster than the larger pieces. All my pieces seem to really easily get speared with the fork. So I'm going to pull my plate out. Put it on a Pyrex dish or a cork board or something that won't burn your table. I'm going to turn off my oven and my timer. Maybe. There we go. And I'm going to grab my last serving dish. So now, before we plate the sweet potatoes, we're going to take the red wine vinegar. We're going to do around a tablespoon. And we're just going to kind of drizzle it over the top. Maybe a tablespoon and a half. We're going to take those walnuts, which by now are all cool, and we are going to toss them in with the mushrooms and sweet potatoes. We'll take our spoon. All right, toss them all together. And then we're going to plate everything, just like so. So I want you guys to eat healthy, eat primally, love your food, love your real food. Enjoy this meal, enjoy all your meals, and have a great night.